This is a full story. Kitten wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. My gold-digging ex-girlfriend showed up at my company to apply for a secretary position. What's the monthly salary? I glanced at the HR-approved figure of $5,000, crossed it out with a heavy stroke. $50,000. Is that enough? If not, I'll pay you 6 months in advance. Her face turned pale. She must still remember. She dumped me back then for $300,000. From the moment Haley walked into the interview room, the expression on her face was a masterpiece. From seeing me and trying to run, to hearing $50,000 and freezing on the spot, it only took a few seconds. Just like back then, I couldn't make her stay, but $300,000 could. You'll really pay me $50,000 a month. I glanced at her. After all these years, she still looked like a student. Found herself a rich boyfriend, but didn't look pampered at all. Yes, she bit her lip, nervously rubbing her hands back and forth, eyes filled with tension, guilt, and unease. President Rocky, I know I'm not worth that much, but if you're willing to keep me, I'll do anything. I gave a casual "oh" and pointed at the contract. Then sign it. Haley slowly stepped forward, flipped through the contract quickly, picked up a pen and signed her name, then gently slid the papers back to me. Haley, 2 characters written so delicately. Once my favorite name in the world. Anything. As I left the interview room, I turned back to look at her. Haley nodded hard. Anything. Hearing that, I sneered and walked away. That night, on Haley's first day at work, I brought her to a business cocktail party. Can you drink? She was adjusting the tight skirt the company provided and looked up in confusion. Clearly a scheming woman, yet always pretending to be innocent. If you're going to be my secretary, the first requirement is knowing how to drink. Otherwise, what did you think I brought you here for decoration? Her eyes welled up with tears, dripping down one by one. I loosened my tie. If you can't drink, then leave. I'm not your rich boyfriend. I'm not obligated to take care of you. I can drink. She raised her head suddenly, afraid to lose the job. I ignored her and pushed open the wide doors of the banquet hall. All the CEOs stood up to greet me. I gave a brief introduction of Haley and sat down to chat with the others. For the first half hour, it was all business talk. Everything went smoothly. Soon a few contracts were nearly finalized. Then came the drinking. Make these bosses happy. And signing deals was just a matter of time. I handed the contract to Haley. She pretended not to get it, kept asking what I meant. Make them sign. Haley let out an "oh" and walked off with the documents. I couldn't tell if she was really dumb or just pretending. Didn't her rich boyfriend teach her how to please men? She stood there like a fool holding a pen, thinking her beauty alone would make men throw millions at her. Ridiculous. Miss Serena, I'll sign, but you've got to show some sincerity. President Rocky is a generous man, so his secretary can't be too shabby either. Mr. Lee tapped his glass. The waiter poured 3 drinks immediately. Haley froze for a moment, turned back to look at me for help. I casually sipped tea, chatting warmly with Mr. Zhang beside me. She tilted her head and downed all 3 drinks. Then came Mr. Sun, over 40 years old, loved to flirt with young women. He picked up his glass, smiling greasy. Today's a great day. Your company just landed a $1 billion deal. Ours chipped in $60 million. So 6 drinks for good fortune. Not too much, right, Miss Serena? Haley had drunk too fast before. She swayed slightly, cheeks flushed. I'll drink. She downed all 6 shots. Mr. Sun, please sign the deal. She moved on to Mr. Zhang beside me. Sir, how many drinks would you like? Mr. Zhang was more composed. No need to push yourself, Miss Serena. Just show some sincerity. Haley smiled awkwardly, raised her glass and chugged it. She was drunk. Her steps wobbled, her eyes unfocused. She staggered over to me, placed her hand on my shoulder, smiling dreamily. Rocky, how many drinks would you like? My body stiffened. Rocky, that name. So long since I'd heard it. Look at them, bullying Miss Serena like that. Hear that name, Rocky. Makes my heart melt. Careful, President Rocky might get mad. Mr. Sun and the others burst into laughter. I felt my face flush with embarrassment. Coldly glared at Haley. You're drunk. Her face fell. She walked back to her seat in silence. No one bothered her again. She leaned on her hand in a daze. Soon fell asleep. The cool night breeze blew. The party ended near 1 a.m. I told the driver to leave. Decided to drive Haley home myself. Where do you live? My tone was harsh. I felt uncomfortable, but didn't know why. I should have felt happy seeing her like this, but my chest felt tight. Rocky, why are you being so mean to me? Haley leaned on the passenger seat, eyes closed, voice soft and sweet, just like she used to be. But that was years ago. Where do you live? She didn't answer. She leaned closer, rested her head on my arm, breath warm against my neck. I felt a surge of heat. Rocky, I missed you. I really missed you. Hold me, will you? I slammed the brakes. The wide road was empty. She lurched forward, head landing square in my lap. I grabbed her neck and pushed her back, kissed her hard. Haley's scent hadn't changed, still intoxicating. Once I touched her, I lost all control. I only wanted to humiliate her, but she was drunk, responded gently, wrapped herself around me, like she used to. I cursed her in my heart. Sheep left me for another man, now crawling back, but my body betrayed me. I held held her tighter, wanting to make her mine. Rocky, it's so hot. I yanked at her clothes, kissed down her neck. She held my hand, fingers interlaced, moaning softly. But at the last moment, I stopped. She stared at me in confusion. Haley, who am I? Rocky. The Rocky you left. I still remember how disgusted you looked at me that day. Like I was dirt. You said, compared to him, you're not even worth a toe. His toes are made of gold. You, a broke loser. Just looking at you makes me sick. Haley's eyes slowly cleared. Her lips trembled. Rocky. I pushed her away in disgust, got back in the driver's seat, straightened my clothes. Get out. Let your rich boyfriend pick you up. Her lips quivered. She shakily pulled her clothes up, got out of the car. I don't get it. Your golden-toed prince can't support you anymore. Sent you out here, working like this. What happened? Ed got bored of you. I didn't wait for her reply. Stepped on the gas and sped away. In the rearview mirror, Haley stood there for a long time, then crouched down. Didn't get up for ages. I drove fast, down a whole street, then cursed myself. Turned the car back. Rocky, you're just afraid something will happen to her. She's your secretary now. It's not because you still love her. The next morning, when I woke up, it was already past 10. I picked up my phone. WeChat had a message from last night. Thank you, Haley. I scoffed, threw the phone aside, self-deluded. That day I didn't go to the office. Had lunch at home with my parents, then played golf all afternoon. In the evening, Haley called me. President Rocky, you didn't come to work today. Are you feeling unwell? Something you need? I answered coldly. No, I was just a bit worried about you. I slammed the phone on the table. The sound was loud. She must have been startled. Worried about me. She left me when she thought I had no money. When I drank myself into vomiting blood, she didn't care. Now she knows I'm rich, suddenly she cares. Hey women. Haley was being isolated in the company. That night, when she called me Rocky at the dinner table, someone spread the story. Everyone already knew her hiring bypass protocol. They had long held a grudge. Now hearing how intimately she addressed me, many started talking behind her back. I heard about it, but I couldn't be bothered. She really did get in by dropping her pants, didn't she? With just a high school diploma. She had no shot at even entering the company otherwise. If she took the back door, she should expect the rumors and whispers. That's the adult world. You mess up, you take the hit. I thought she'd come to complain to me. She was always so melodramatic. Any little grievance, she'd cry all night. But surprisingly, she just did her job. Didn't come to me. Even avoided being alone with me. Proud, aren't we? President Rocky. There's a dinner tonight with Huayu CEO. It's our first collaboration with them. This meal is crucial. Haley's inexperienced. How about I come with you? It was the CFO speaking. I glanced at her heavily made up face. Inexperience is how one gains experience. The company won't pay her for nothing. The CFO pushed further. You're right, President Rocky. Bring your secretary Serena too. If it gets tough, I can help demonstrate. Don't want to ruin anything important. Is finance too idle lately? The CFO froze. No, of course not. We're working overtime every day. You know this, President Rocky. Finance is always the busiest department. We treat the company like our own family. I sipped my tea. Then Director Bame, go handle your own work. When you're done, go home. Anything else? Bame left with an embarrassed look. Just as she walked out, Haley came in. I waved her over. There's a dinner tonight. Change into a formal suit. Director Bame stomped furiously down the hallway, her heels clicking sharply. What's wrong with Director Bame? Haley turned back confused, staring at that stormy figure. I flipped through a folder and said casually, these women don't focus on work, just want to climb high. Become a phoenix by grabbing some rich man, just like you. A long silence, then the sound of the door closing. At dinner that night, Haley behaved far better than last time. She might not be eloquent, but she could drink. By the end, she had CEO Jack from Huayu completely dazed. President Rocky, this young lady's something. Fearless like a calf before a tiger. Just graduated. I gave a low while dealing with him and signaled Haley to pass the contract. Her hand trembled slightly. She drunk too much. Her face was red. Even her fair arms were flushed. When she passed the document to Jack, he didn't even glance at it. Instead, he stared at Haley's arm and licked his lips. I was annoyed. Loosened my tie a bit. Miss Serena, your hands are so fair. Jack leered, grabbed Haley's arm, and licked it. Stuff like this is common at business banquets. Most bosses assume the girls brought along are there to be toyed with. I'd seen it, thought it was normal. But when the girl was Haley, I found I couldn't accept it. Before I realized it, my fist had already smashed into Jack's face. He fell with a yelp, howling in pain. Rocky, what the hell are you doing? I stood up, unbuttoned my sleeves, rolled them up, tilted my head at him. What do you think you're doing? Touching my person in front of me. You're asking for it. Your person. She didn't even protest. Why are you acting all chivalrous? Don't think I don't know. Everyone's saying, you've had your fun with her, and now you're tossing her to us. We don't mind. She should be grateful. Bang. My vision went red red with rage. I lunged at Jack again. Haley tried to pull me off, but I shoved her to the ground. I hit him hard, left him with a swollen face. At 10 p.m., a waiter called the police. We were both taken to the station. It's swollen. Let me clean it up. Don't touch me. We sat on the stone steps outside the station. Haley had bought iodine and cotton swabs. I lit a cigarette, took a deep drag. Where's your boyfriend? Done with you. She reached out again to apply the iodine. I batted her hand away, flicked the cigarette, looked at her coldly. The moonlight was pale and cool. A breeze blew past. She pulled her coat tighter, gave a soft I sneered. I thought he really loved you. But of course, a woman like you. Yesterday you left me for him. Today you can leave him for someone else. He dumped you early. Smart man. Haley hung her head, clutching the cotton swab tightly. After a while she whispered, back then, I'm sorry. No need. It's way too late. Actually, I'm kind of grateful. Grateful you dumped me early on. Otherwise, I might have been tricked by you for a lifetime. Spending forever with a woman like you. Just the thought is terrifying. Haley cried, like she had suffered the world's biggest injustice. Rocky, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Rocky. I looked up. A pink Maserati screeched to a stop. Serena dashed over like the wind. I instinctively caught her. What happened? You're a grown man. Why are you fighting? Unbelievable. Look at that face. Who did this? I'll kill him with one slap. Serena was always fiery. She grabbed a brick from the flower bed, kicked off her heels, ready to charge into the station. I grabbed her around the waist and pulled her back. He's long gone. You go in now. They'll think you're assaulting an officer. She dropped the brick, pulled her sleeves back down, put her heels back on, and instantly looked graceful and composed. Who's this? Haley and Serena looked at each other. I tossed my cigarette. My secretary. Jack sexually harassed her, so I hit him. Haley stood up, smiled awkwardly at Serena, a bit reserved. Serena was always blunt. She patted Haley's shoulder. Oh, I see. Don't cry, don't cry. You okay? Haley nodded like a well-behaved student, like an innocent girl. Our Rocky's just like that. A natural hero. He did the right thing. Guy like that deserves a beating. Haley's expression shifted. The moment she heard, our Rocky. You are, Serena, his fiancée. I looked straight at Haley. She looked up sharply, eyes filled with loss she couldn't hide. I knew that look. She always had it when she was hurt. Yes, I'm his fiancée. Didn't know, huh? A lot of people at your company probably try to seduce him, right? Tell me secretly. I won't tell anyone. Serena was a chatterbox. She grabbed Haley's hand walking toward the car. You have no idea how stressful it is dating him. Always afraid some little bimbo will snatch him away. He's too handsome. Being his girlfriend is a full-time job. But to be honest, I love it. I love how hot he is, haha. They walked ahead. I lit another cigarette behind them. Suddenly remembered. Back in school, a junior girl confessed to me. Haley cried all night. She kept asking if one day I'd leave her for someone else. I told her, no matter what, I'd never leave her. But before we even graduated, she left me for a rich boy. I chuckled bitterly. She dumped me, and now she's the one who regrets it. Serena started coming to the company more frequently. She never liked coming here before. She said the atmosphere was too stifling. Every time she came, the way those women looked at her made it seem like they wanted to skin her alive. Serena and I didn't fall in love naturally. Her father is a business tycoon. Ours was a marriage alliance. But she has a good personality, very different from the typical upper-class daughters. She's straightforward, often speaks without thinking, but I don't dislike her. Rocky, do you think Miss Serena is pretty? Serena sat on my desk staring outside at Haley. I didn't even lift my head. She's average. Average, I think she's quite pretty. Delicate, like she could be blown over by the wind. I let out a short laugh. If the wind can blow her over, she's not worth wanting. What kind of talk is that? She's just a young girl. Don't be so mean with your words. I didn't respond. Kept flipping through documents. I had my eye on a piece of land in the east part of the city. I sent someone to negotiate the price. We were about to finalize the deal. But today the seller suddenly doubled the price, raising the price out of nowhere. Who is it who dares play hardball with you? Serena snatched the file from me. After reading it for a while, she asked, who's the seller? I lit a cigarette. Who do you think? I beat Jack up last night. Now today the seller raises the price. Who else could it be? Serena handed me back the file, picked up her phone, and walked out while dialing. Just as she left, Haley walked in with 2 cups of coffee. She said softly, yours has no sugar. Miss Serena's has 70% sugar. I glanced at her. She still remembered I don't like sweet coffee. I raised the sugary one and took a sip. Go add sugar. I don't drink bitter coffee anymore. Haley hesitated a moment, then softly said, okay. She walked out looking disappointed. A while later she came back with the coffee. Just as Serena came back from her call, she casually took the coffee, took a sip, and praised, tastes good. Haley smiled, turned around, and remembered to close the door. The seller is Jack. He refuses to lower the price. He says he will, but only under one condition. I looked up. What condition? Give him Haley. I slammed the coffee down. Liquid splashed all over the floor. Serena was startled. He's dreaming. There's more than one piece of land in Nashville. If he won't sell, someone else will. Even if I have to pay more, I won't buy his. I won't let him profit like that. Serena patted her chest. You don't have to react so strongly. We can just pick a different site. No one said we really have to give Miss Serena to him. Is she a thing? Just give her to him. Why should I? My voice turned cold. Serena and I rarely argue. It's a business marriage. Most of the time we understand each other. But when it comes to Haley, I admit I lose control. I'm sorry. I lowered my head and apologized quickly. Serena grabbed her bag and left without looking back. The room fell silent. I rubbed my hair hard. After all these years, why can't I forget her? Haley and I were college classmates. We were each other's first love. My parents were business people, always traveling everywhere. Since I was young, they barely cared about me. I grew up rebellious. Since high school, I hung out with bad crowds, drinking, smoking, fighting. My grades were always failing. I was nothing like Haley, honest, diligent, and studious. The first time I noticed Haley, I had just gotten beaten up. I was on my way back to school when a group of punks cornered me. They outnumbered me, and I got beaten badly. It started raining heavily. I lay on the ground in pain, unable to move. Many people passed by, but only Haley stopped to hold an umbrella over me. Falling for Haley had a lot to do with my lack of love growing up. She was gentle and sweet. Her smile had dimples. Her eyes curved like crescents. She spoke with that soft southern accent. Medium height, perfect figure. Yes, I was partly attracted by her looks. To win her heart, I made up a story to stir her pity. I told her my family was poor. My parents didn't care about me, so I fell in with bad company. Haley was pure and kind and she wanted to save me, and I let her. We went to school together, ate together, studied late together, did everything young couples do, including living together. I imagined our future countless times. I even drew it in my mind every day. It should have been beautiful, pure, but I didn't expect that in Haley's eyes. Love wasn't worth as much as a rich man's cash. She abandoned me. Before leaving, she smashed the gifts I gave her and cursed me with that rich guy, then dropped out of school for him. It was ironic. The first 2 years after she left, I was miserable, drinking every day, living in a haze. I drank until my stomach bled, stayed in the hospital for months. When I got out, I sobered up. I hated her, hated how she trampled my love, hated how she lied to me. Love meant nothing next to money. I started studying hard, graduated, and took over the company. In just 3 years, I made it big in Nashville. I thought I'd never see Haley again, but fate had other plans. She applied to my company. When her resume came in, I spotted her among the photos. Without thinking, I told HR to reject the others, keep only hers. I wanted to humiliate her, get revenge. She looked desperate for money. Like before, I should have despised her, but the longer she stayed, the more shaken I became. Because I beat up Jack, the company lost a big deal. Everyone blamed Haley, saying she seduced men and caused trouble. In the end, they all suffered because of her. Someone poured dirty water on her in the stairwell. She ran off to change. I happened to see her. What happened? Seeing me, Haley looked flustered. She muttered nothing and tried to run to the changing room. I grabbed her shoulder. Don't make me ask again. Haley bit her lip, whispered, President Rocky. I fell in the fountain. I let go. She ran off quickly. I asked my assistant and learned the truth. Next morning at the meeting, I reassigned the person who splashed her, claiming the Southwest branch needed people. Only then did the office calm down. After the meeting, Haley hesitantly knocked on my door. What is it? Lately she avoided my office unless it was business. Thank you. For what? I looked up at her. Other than for business events. She always wore her own dresses, old-fashioned styles, like from years ago. I just couldn't understand. Even if they broke up, it's been years, and not a single piece of clothing did he buy her. Thank you for standing up for me this morning. Standing up for you. Every personnel change in this company is based on comprehensive factors. It's only about suitability, not about taking sides. Haley gave a soft, oh, lowered her head, and said, then I'll head out first. Just as she reached the door, I spoke. As my secretary, your personal image is also part of your job. She didn't quite understand at first. Her face turned red before she looked back. President Rocky, I understand. Near the end of the workday, Serena called and asked me to dinner, thinking I still hadn't made up for the other day. I agreed to meet her at a 5-star restaurant at 6:30. Traffic was terrible on the way. I was late. By the time I arrived, Serena had already finished eating. She glared at me angrily. Sorry, the traffic was worse than I thought. It took me an hour and a half. Serena pouted. Then your punishment is no dinner. You'll come shopping with me. I'm going to buy tons of clothes. I gave a short There were stores just downstairs. Serena headed straight for Chanel, shopping like a whirlwind. Pack up all the new arrivals for me. Naturally, salespeople love such wealthy customers. They swarmed around her, racing to recommend new products. A staff member guided me to the men's waiting area to rest. Just as I sat down, I saw Haley in a nearby women's clothing store. She was speaking to a saleswoman. Her tone was rather timid, while the saleswoman was smug and commanding. I didn't think much, just got up and walked over. Sorry, miss. Our store doesn't bargain. If you can't afford it, why come to luxury stores? Women like this are disgusting, pretending to be rich to trap men, wearing a piece or two of designer clothes, thinking they can fake their way into wealth. Well, at least you're investing. Exactly. Miss, if you really can't afford it, go out and take a right. There's a shopping street over there. You can get a whole outfit for $100 or $200. Looks just like what you're wearing now. The salespeople mocked her one after another. Haley bit her lip, tears falling nonstop. So stupid. All she ever does is cry. Pack up all your latest arrivals for her. I stood at the entrance. Haley and the sales staff all looked over in unison. I kept my eyes on Haley and handed my card to the staff. Their faces changed instantly. They bowed and took the card, rushing off. Haley lowered her head, bit her lip, and after a long while finally squeezed out a sentence. I don't have the money, I'll pay you back. I glanced at her, then turned and walked away. Serena had just finished shopping too, chatting happily with the salespeople. I handed her the card. She finally looked at me. Where'd you go? Don't you hate shopping? Why'd you disappear? I went out for a smoke. The staff swiped the card and praised me. Miss Serena, your fiancé is so generous. Truly spoils you. Serena smiled politely. He only knows how to spend money. I picked up the bags. Serena wrapped her arm around mine. Just as we stepped out of the store, we saw Haley waiting outside with shopping bags. Serena paused. Miss Serena came shopping too. Haley quickly shook her head. No, this is President Rocky's card. I'm here to return it. I raised my brows. How thoughtful. Just didn't know to return it at the office. Serena tilted her head at me. I explained. Her image wasn't presentable. The company bought her a few outfits. Serena replied with an "oh," took the card from Haley's hand. If the company bought them, then Miss Serena can hold on to it. Our group has always treated its employees well. No need to feel burdened. Before Haley could say a word, Serena turned to me with a smile. I'm out of perfume too. Buy it. Serena no longer looked at Haley, clung to my arm affectionately, and we walked away. She was angry. We didn't end up buying perfume. Once out of Haley's sight, Serena shook off my arm and headed straight to the parking lot. In the car, she stayed silent, pouting and looking out the window angrily. It really was the company who bought it. I'll have finance cover it tomorrow. I tried to explain. Serena said nothing. I was waiting for you earlier. Saw her being humiliated in the store. To be honest, it's partly my fault. This morning I commented on how old her clothes were. Said her image represented the company too. But I didn't know she had no money. Though Serena has a temper, she's always been reasonable. She turned to me. Really? Those salespeople were cruel. Said she was pretending to be rich, trying to trap men with luxury brands. She's my secretary. If she's being bullied, and I saw it, I couldn't just ignore it. Serena was finally appeased. She held my hand. All right then, I'll forgive you this time. But really, she's just a regular employee. Expecting her to buy luxury clothes was too much. Next time, if you have such requirements, just have finance transfer the money. I gave a quiet and drove her home. On the way back, worried about traffic, I took a small road. As I passed an old residential building, a few thugs were surrounding a girl, pushing and pulling at her. Scenes like this are common. Even the police can't handle them all. I didn't plan to interfere, but just as I was about to turn, a shopping bag flew over, smacking into my windshield. The logo on the bag looked familiar. It was from the store Haley went earlier. I hit the brakes hard. The sound was loud. I got out of the car. The thugs shouted at me to mind my own business. But once they saw my car's logo, they scattered. One of them even kicked her bag, scattering clothes everywhere. Haley was squatting on the ground crying, her whole body shaking. Her clothes were crumpled, clearly marked with footprints. Back in the car, Haley hugged her knee, saying nothing, trembling uncontrollably. She seemed even more timid than before. No matter what happened, she was either shaking all over or trembling hands. Who were those people? Her sobs stopped abruptly. After a long pause, she said, I don't know. I just got back and ran into them. They'd been drinking, tried to rob me. I lit a cigarette. You live alone? Haley answered with a soft I asked again, what about your parents? They're divorced. I glanced sideways at her. Haley came from an ordinary family, but in my memory, her parents had always been loving. So Haley had grown up gentle and mild. Her home should have been a happy one, but this was her private matter. I didn't ask further. I took another drag from my cigarette and said, since you live alone, don't come back this late again. If something happens, call the police. It took Haley a while to respond with a quiet Then she said, thank you. She straightened the shopping bag of clothes, kept one piece, and handed the rest to me. I can't wear so many. The company's rule is that employees can only take 2. I already have a set. I'll just keep this one. You can give the rest to Miss Serena. She doesn't wear hand-me-downs. Haley lowered her head, like a child who had done something wrong. Then, I'll go return them. Give the money back to you. To get humiliated again What are you, a masochist? Haley fell completely silent. If this were the past, she would have stood with hands on her hips, pouting and yelling at me. Rocky, I'm mad now. I don't want to see you for the next few days. Don't talk to me. And I'd always be the one to apologize. I thought, she's a girl. It's right for me to give in to her, to make her happy. But now, she had lost even the right to act spoiled. She only lowered her head in silence. It was very dark. I couldn't see her expression. Maybe she was crying, but I didn't want to comfort her. I couldn't forget how she abandoned me, and I couldn't forget those days that followed. How I called her over and over like a madman. From being ignored, to calls being blocked, to hearing the line disconnected. She never gave me a shred of comfort. Where do you live? I'll drive you home. Haley shook her head. She quickly wiped away her tears with her small hand, lifted her head and forced a smile. Thank you, President Rocky. I'll go back on my own. She got out and closed the door, taking only that one piece of clothing. I stared at the remaining bag on the passenger seat, feeling an emotion I couldn't quite name. Then Haley suddenly requested a week off. Reason? I don't feel well. I looked up at her. She was gently covering her stomach. I thought it was her period and was about to approve her leave. Then I suddenly remembered. She never had this problem before. Where does it hurt? Haley blushed and looked up. The company doesn't require that level of detail. I pushed the leave slip back toward her coldly. The company also doesn't require me to approve your leave. Haley stared at me in silence. Her eyes widened, growing redder. In the end, she suddenly tilted her head up, as if afraid of her tears falling. President Rocky, I really don't feel well. Her voice trembled. Her body started shaking again, but she stubbornly refused to explain why. After a long stalemate, I gave in. I signed the form and tossed it aside. Haley picked up the slip and turned to leave, then suddenly looked back and said, "Thank you." After she left, I felt an unexplained agitation. I called my assistant, told him to look into what illness Haley might have. That weekend night, Serena's parents invited me to a meeting. They said, Serena and I had been together for over a year. We weren't kids anymore. It was time to settle down and get married. I'd long lost any big desires about marriage, though Serena and I were part of a business arrangement. She had a good personality, treated me well. At least we got along like friends, better than being cold strangers. So I agreed without much hesitation. Serena was very happy. She knew I was busy and didn't like dealing with these things, so she took over all the planning. But life is full of coincidences. Her mother died. It was a warm, sunny afternoon. I looked at the stack of documents my assistant handed me. It clearly stated that Haley's parents weren't divorced. Her mother had suffered from ALS. According to hospital records, her symptoms began shortly before Haley and I broke up. For a long time, the expense column said, family still gathering funds. Soon after our breakup, the medical fees were paid, but her mother didn't last much longer. 2 years later, she died from full-body organ failure. I stared at the fee line. Haley had paid $300,000 all at once. Back then, she was just a student. Her monthly allowance was only $1,000. Given her family background, where did she get the money? Some things don't stand up to scrutiny. That rich kid, those thugs who blocked her way, Haley, who used to never even raise her voice at me. All these things pieced together, and the truth started to surface. Where's Haley? What illness does she have? The assistant answered without emotion, thinking I was just concerned about an employee. It's not very hereditary, but Miss Serena was unlucky. She inherited it and it's already active. President Rocky, the hospital says this disease is incurable once it starts. At most 5 years. We'll probably need a new secretary soon. Maybe it's for the best. The staff have always had complaints about her. Where is she now? At this hospital. The director said she refused to be admitted. Probably can't afford it. And when she took care of her mom here before, some gangsters often came to bother her, always causing trouble. People at the hospital say she wasn't very decent. Who knows what she was up to? Hey, President Rocky, where are you going? I waited outside the hospital for 3 hours. Eventually, I saw Haley. She looked at me and gave a distant smile. What a coincidence. President Rocky, is Miss Serena unwell too? I grabbed her arm, pulled her into the passenger seat, shut the door, and pinned her there. She looked panicked. President Rocky, what's wrong? What illness do you have? Haley's eyes dimmed. She thought I was about to humiliate her again. It's nothing serious. I'll return to work tomorrow. I stared at her, took out the documents and shoved them into her hands. Haley, all these years, I hated you. I hated how you lied to me, how you betrayed me, how you insulted me. But today, I'm giving you a chance. Explain it to me. Haley turned pale instantly upon seeing the documents. She stammered, unable to get a word out. Tears poured from her eyes. She finally covered her face and sobbed. Rocky, please don't care about me anymore. I'm dying. I don't want to drag you down. In our junior year, Haley's mom got sick. They learned it was ALS, a rare incurable and costly disease. Her father immediately chose to leave. That's why Haley said her parents divorced. But in truth, her mother deteriorated rapidly, so much that she couldn't even get out of bed. I had always told Haley that my family was poor, so when something happened, her first thought was not to burden me. Haley loved me deeply. She understood me. She knew I'd try everything to help her, but she didn't want that. She said, "You were such a jerk before. I tried so hard to set you straight. I didn't want you to become who you used to be again because of me." So she turned to loan sharks. That rich kid wasn't her boyfriend. He was her creditor. $300,000, 10% interest. Practically robbery. But Haley had no other choice. To make me give up, she asked the rich kid to put on an act with her. During those years, I drank daily, blinded by rage. I never thought of looking for her in person. After her mom died, Haley was left all alone. She couldn't pay back the loan. The loan shark sent people to threaten her again and again. If she didn't pay up, they'd sell her into prostitution. Without a degree, she couldn't land most jobs. One day, she saw a posting from her group, looking for a secretary. Requirements: good looks and stable mindset. The company wanted someone to accompany clients to drinks, so the bar was low. I didn't pay much attention. It turned out to be her only lifeline, but she never expected that the president of the company was me, that the interviewer was me. After years apart, I humiliated her ruthlessly. She wanted to leave, but had no way out. Every day at work felt like a year to her, but she couldn't leave. The gangsters were pressing too hard, coming to her home every few days to smash and break things. Now, apart from the bed, there was nothing left in her house. Miss Serena is a wonderful person. She's perfect for you. If you marry her, you'll definitely be happy. I didn't say a word. The sudden change was hard for me to accept. I had hated her for so many years, and in the past few months, I'd done countless things to hurt her. Now in comparison, I looked like a complete monster. I smoked cigarette after cigarette, tossing one after a few puffs, but couldn't stop lighting another. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. My throat felt clogged. I wanted to say something, but didn't know what to say. My eyes stung and ached, but I'm a man. Crying like Haley would seem too dramatic. Haley twisted open a bottle of water and handed it to me, her voice soft. "Stop smoking. You finally quit, but now you're smoking even more than before. It's bad for your health." I covered my face and broke down crying. All those beautiful memories I had tried to forget came flooding back. Haley, who stood in the rain holding an umbrella for me. Haley, who gently pulled me back to school and cleaned my wounds. Haley, who lay in my arms on countless nights, saying she loved me, dreaming of the future with me. I raised my hand and pulled Haley tightly into my arms, whispering, "I'm sorry," over and over. I arranged for Haley to stay at the best hospital, got her admitted, then scheduled a meeting with Serena. "Rocky, the suit is ready. I brought it with me. Let's find somewhere to try it on. If it doesn't fit, I'll get it altered. The wedding, everything's prepared. Don't worry. The best MC, the perfect venue." "Serena, I want to say, let's cancel the wedding." Serena froze, looked up at me. "Are you joking?" I told her the basic story about Haley. Serena didn't say a word the entire time. This was always a business marriage. You and I both knew it. Our marriage was for cooperation. There was no love between us. If she hadn't appeared, I wouldn't have minded marrying you. You're a good person, but I don't want to lie to you. All these years, I never forgot her, whether out of love or guilt. I can't leave her now. Serena was calm, far from the hysterical scene I had imagined. "Is this your final decision after serious thought?" I nodded. "To make it up to you, our group will continue to cooperate with your father's company, and the cut won't exceed 2%. Serena smiled. "So I'm worth that much." "Thank you, President Rocky. That's not what I meant." Serena picked up her bag and opened the car door. Wearing high heels, she stepped down without any trace of anger on her face. "You're right, Rocky. It was a business deal. I can't compete with your first love, especially with how she is now. I won't fight her. Take good care of her. There's still time ahead for us." In Haley's second month at the hospital, the thugs came again. This time they ran into me while trashing her room. I called the police, used some connections, found the rich kid behind it, paid off Haley's $300,000 debt, and charged him with violent loan sharking. After being hospitalized, Haley's condition kept worsening. She slept more and more, and her hands trembled involuntarily. The hospital director told me, when people have something to live for, they tend to hold on longer. But now her wish had been fulfilled. Her body was too relaxed, and she had entered a state of waiting for death. I brought Haley home. The director said she had been sick for a long time, but her symptoms were mild at first. Her internal organs were already severely damaged. Continuing treatment would only increase her suffering. Maybe going outside being in a good mood could help her live a little longer. As soon as we entered the house, Haley stared around nonstop. "When we get married, let's decorate the house like the Louvre. You love the statue of Venus. I'll get you a giant one." Back then, Haley didn't believe me, but she still imagined a beautiful future with me. She walked up to the Venus statue, stretched out her trembling little hand and touched it. Then she turned around, eyes red. You really bought it. I wrapped my arms around her from behind, kissed her hair. Do you like it? Haley nodded hard, tears dripping onto the back of my hand. Rocky, what will you do if I die? I turned away, wiping my tears on her clothes. If you care about me, then stay alive. I suspended all company affairs, left everything to the vice president. Haley's waking hours got shorter and shorter. I knew her time was almost up. In the first few days, she could still walk a little. 2 months later, she needed me to carry her out of bed. Her muscles began to weaken and soften. Sometimes even holding a phone took many tries. I didn't feel safe leaving her alone. Rocky, I want to see Miss Serena. I carried her to the rocking chair in the yard, tucked a blanket around her. Okay, I didn't ask why. She didn't have many wishes left, and I wanted to fulfill everyone. Serena came with many health supplements. She greeted me with a smile, like an old friend. She and Haley chatted under the tree for a long time. Serena occasionally fed Haley some fruit, even gentler than when she spoke to me. I felt guilty towards Serena, but she didn't blame me. Facing Haley, she showed the greatest kindness one woman could offer another. They laughed together. Before Serena left, she promised Haley to visit again in a few days. That night, I held Haley in my arms, gently kissing her face. Haley wasn't stunning, but her round little face was adorably sweet. She responded with warmth, her tiny hands holding me tight. Afraid she'd get tired, I stopped before going too far and stroked her hair to help her sleep. Rocky, Miss Serena is a good girl, I hummed in response. Haley kissed my face softly, tickling me. Rocky, I can see she loves you. Like I do. You're overthinking. No, I'm not. You're just too dense. Rocky, I have one request. Will you promise me? I didn't speak. I already knew what she was going to say. Sleep early. Don't think too much. No, I have to say it. I disrupted your life. I'm sorry to Miss Serena. If not for me, you two would be married by now. Rocky, I can't let you go. But when I die, can you let Miss Serena stay with you? Haley's voice choked. She cried quietly. I wiped her tears and held her tighter. If this would make you feel better, then I promise. Haley died. She passed away in her sleep. When I woke up in the morning, her body was already cold. There was a faint smile on her face. I held her corpse and cried out loud. There was no need to hold back anymore. Only a few people came to Haley's funeral. She didn't have many friends. Only Serena and I were there. Serena cried the entire time. Maybe I had cried too much before. Now my face looked calm. After the cremation, I bought her a burial plot full of wildflowers. The tombstone bore a photo from her college days. In the picture, Haley was smiling brightly, winking playfully. That day it suddenly rained. I stood across from her. I urged her to go home. She winked at me. I laughed and called her silly. Before she could get mad, I pressed the shutter. Thinking back now, the rain that day wasn't heavy. It was the sky growing darker. It was memories surging in. It was the weight of so many regrets. After the funeral, Serena and I got into our own cars. Before she left, she said to me, I promised her I would take care of you, but I don't want to force you. If one day you can forget her, come find me. After Serena left, I turned back and looked toward the cemetery. In the distance, Haley's silhouette appeared faintly. She ran toward me, just like before, and threw herself into my arms, acting spoiled. Rocky, you'll love me for the rest of your life, right? I nodded. I will. Serena's epilogue. Rocky never came to find me. I waited for him for years, but never heard that he had moved on. His life became a straight line, from the company to home. The only change was that he visited the cemetery once every month. I went there many times. Haley's tombstone was always spotless, surrounded by blooming lilies. When they wilted, someone would replace them with fresh ones, month after month, year after year. Miss Serena, I'm sorry, but I still want to trouble you. Rocky seems cold on the outside, but he's someone who feels deeply. After I'm gone, could you please take care of him? I can tell. Miss Serena, you have feelings for him. I smiled then. Yes, you can see I love him, but he can't, because our beginning was a marriage alliance. He labeled me as just a business partner. That's not true, Miss Serena. As long as you sincerely treat him well, you'll enter his heart, and once you do, he'll give you all his love. Then, can you tell me how he was good to you? Haley's pale little face lit up with a smile, as if recalling something beautiful. He would act spoiled. He used to love basketball. One time he hurt his arm playing, and acted like a baby, asking me to blow on it, to hold him. But you don't know. He used to get into fights a lot. He'd get beaten, his nose swollen, his arm fractured, and never made a sound about the pain. He was very considerate too. During my period, even if I wasn't in pain, he'd still warm my stomach all night. When his hands got cold, he'd rub them warm again. He was childish too. If I chatted with a junior boy, he'd get super jealous, but he was easy to coax. If I hugged him and said I only liked him, he'd forgive me. Haley was laughing. I was laughing too. This was a side of Rocky I never knew. The Rocky I knew was a cold and powerful CEO. He didn't smile, didn't act spoiled, had not a trace of childishness. He was serious at work, strategic strategic in business, rarely lost his temper, and valued profit above all else. But for Haley, he fought with a business partner. Honestly, from that moment, I sensed something different. Fate is strange like that. They were meant to be. No one could stand in their way. They were separated by a misunderstanding. Heaven gave them a second chance, just to let them finish their story, rather than becoming the villain in their love story. It was better to be graceful and let go. On the 10th year after Haley's death, Rocky adopted a little girl. She had a round face, fair and delicate, very much like Haley. He named her Rose Lay. That's when I knew. For the rest of his life, he would never forget her. I stopped waiting. I started a new life. I entered into another marriage alliance, this time with a man completely different from Rocky. He treated me well. We had no romantic feelings, but spent our life with mutual respect and distance. The end. If you like Kitten's story, please follow and like it. Updated every morning at 9 a.m.